You're sitting at your kitchen table on a Tuesday night doing the math again. Not because you want to, but because the number in your checking account is technically fine yet somehow still stressful. You make decent money but have nothing obvious to show for it. You can't point to any single catastrophic mistake, and yet the financial progress you expected by now just hasn't appeared. You're not broke, you're just not ahead. And the gap between where you are and where you thought you'd be at this age is wide enough that you've started wondering if you're missing something important in your financial journey. You are missing something. And it's not a secret investment strategy, not a side hustle, and definitely not a course from someone posing next to a rented Lamborghini in fancy photos. It's 30 specific habits that are so boring, so unglamorous, and so embarrassing to brag about at dinner parties that have quietly turned ordinary people with ordinary salaries into millionaires while everyone around them wondered how they did it. My name is Bob, and I've spent way too much time studying why two people on the same salary can end up in completely different financial universes 30 years later, despite starting from very similar positions. If you've ever made decent money and still felt financially stuck, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button right now, and stay with me, because today we're going to figure out exactly how that gap happened and exactly how to close it for good. Here's the thing nobody tells you up front. There is an entire sophisticated economy built specifically around extracting money from people who haven't learned what you're about to learn in this video. From the car dealership that shows you the monthly payment instead of the total cost, that's a portable to marketing castet or a spirit one. From the car dealership that shows you the monthly payment instead of the total cost, to the subscription services that make canceling deliberately annoying, to the credit card companies charging 22% interest on minimum payments, these aren't accidents at all. These are carefully designed business models that work extraordinarily well on people who haven't been taught to see them coming. Ramsey Solutions surveyed over 10,000 millionaires and found that 79% inherited nothing at all. 75% of them said their wealth came from one simple thing: regular, consistent investing over a long period of time while living their normal, everyday lives without flashy changes. Thomas Stanley's research in The Millionaire Next Door revealed that most millionaires look nothing like what we're told wealth should look like on social media or in movies. Tumengo mata were Facebooks, they drive cars more than 2 years old, they've never paid more than $399 for a suit, and they live in the same house for decades while quietly building real wealth. This video breaks down the exact 30 habits that separate the person quietly becoming a millionaire on a modest salary from the one who stays stuck checking their balance before buying groceries. I'm not a financial advisor. This is educational content only, not personalized advice. But these numbers are real, and they'll change how you see every financial decision you make from here forward. Let's go and dive straight into these 30 powerful yet simple habits that can transform your financial future without requiring any dramatic lifestyle changes or risky investments. Habit 1. Always buy used cars instead of new ones. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. On an average $49,000 car, that's almost $10,000 gone instantly. Buying a 3-year-old version lets someone else pay for that expensive first chapter while you get most of the useful life. The monthly payment difference between new and used is around $230 on average. That $230 invested every month at 8% over 30 years becomes $338,000. That's just the depreciation gap without counting higher insurance or interest. Habit 2. Keep the same car for at least 10 years. Once your car is paid off every month without a payment is money you can redirect to investments. Over 5 years, that can free up $46,000, which invested at 8% grows into $56,000 or more. Modern cars maintained properly routinely reach 200,000 miles. The car itself is rarely the problem. The cultural pressure to upgrade constantly is the real issue, and the car industry spends billions making sure that pressure never disappears from your mind. Habit 3. Live in a slightly worse house than you can technically afford. The bank may approve you for 43 to 50% of your income on housing, but financial planners recommend staying at 28% maximum for a very good reason. On a $100,000 salary, the difference between 28% and 35% housing costs is $584 per month. Invested at 7% over 30 years, that becomes $700,000 you keep instead of trading for a slightly nicer neighborhood. Habit 4. Don't upsize your home every 5 years. Every time you sell and buy bigger, you lose 8 to 15% in commissions, closing costs, and moving expenses. Doing this 3 times over 20 years can easily cost $100,000 to $180,000. Habit 5. Rent out a spare room if possible. The average spare room rents for $700 to $1,500 per month. At $700, this can reduce your effective housing cost by 39%, turning your mortgage into something much more manageable. Habit 6. Take geography seriously. The median home in California costs over $800,000, while in Iowa, it's around $228,000. A remote worker moving to a lower-cost area while keeping the same salary can save $2,000 to $3,000 per month on housing alone. Habit 7. Buy low-cost index funds like the S&P 500 and never touch them. Over 30 years, the S&P 500 returned 10.65% annually, while the average investor only earned 7.13% due to emotional buying and selling. Habit 8. Max out your HSA before almost everything else if you have a high-deductible health plan. This is the only account with triple tax advantages, deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free medical withdrawals. Very few people invest it properly. Habit 9. Capture 100% of your 401k employer match. This is free money offering a 50 to 100% guaranteed return on the day you contribute. Yet 1 in 4 employees leave some of it unclaimed every single year. Habit 10. Automate all your contributions so saving doesn't depend on willpower. When companies switched to automatic 401k enrollment, participation jumped from 28% to 91%. What you never see, you rarely spend. Habit 11. Use a cashback credit card but pay it to zero every single month. The average household earns $560 to $780 per year in rewards. This only works if you never carry a balance and pay interest. Habit 12. Treat high-interest debt like the emergency it really is. Making minimum payments on a $10,000 balance at 22% interest can cost over $18,000 in interest alone and take 22 years to pay off. Habit 13. Build and maintain a real emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This prevents normal life events from turning into high-interest debt stories that last for years. Habit 14. Cook. Most of your meals at home and batch cook on weekends. Americans now spend almost 60% of their food budget eating out. Shifting to 80% home cooking can save $2,000 to $4,000 per year easily. Habit 15. Keep your flagship smartphone for at least 4 years instead of upgrading annually. The difference of $750 per year invested at 7% over 40 years becomes approximately $148,000. Habit 16. Buy staple goods in bulk and switch to quality generics. Strategic bulk buying on items you actually use can save $300 to $620 per year on a normal grocery budget while delivering the exact same quality. Habit 17. Use the 24-hour rule before any purchase over $50. Americans lose an average of $5,400 per year on impulse buys. Waiting 24 hours lets the initial excitement fade and prevents many unnecessary purchases. Habit 18. Get a free library card and use the Libby app for ebooks and audiobooks. If you read or listen to 24 books per year at $20 each, that's $480 saved annually, plus free access to courses and magazines. Habit 19. Never buy extended warranties. Retailers keep 50% or more as pure profit. Only 1 in 10 people ever use them. Your credit card often already extends the manufacturer's warranty for free. Habit 20. Audit your subscriptions. Every 3 months, the average person underestimates their monthly subscription spending by $133. Many services are forgotten and quietly drain money for years. Habit 21. Refuse to let your lifestyle inflate with every raise. 40% of households earning over $300,000 still live paycheck to paycheck because their spending rises exactly with their income. Habit 22. Track every dollar honestly once a month. Only 32% of households prepare a detailed budget, but those who do save approximately 20% more than those who don't, even with the same income. Habit 23. Negotiate your salary every single time you change jobs or during reviews. Not negotiating a starting salary can cost between $1 million and $1.5 million in lifetime earnings due to compounding raises and retirement contributions. Habit 24. Shop around for insurance. Every single year, 92% of people who switched auto insurance saved money with an average saving of $461 per year. Loyalty to one company is usually expensive. Habit 25. Negotiate your recurring bills instead of accepting the listed price. 92% of people who called their cable or internet provider received a better rate or an upgrade for the same price. Companies expect you to ask. Habit 26. Never buy a boat, RV, or vacation home until you run the actual full ownership numbers. These items depreciate rapidly and come with high annual storage insurance and maintenance costs that destroy wealth quietly over time. Habit 27. Always negotiate your medical bills. Roughly 50% of patients who ask receive a reduction with an average cut of 35%. The listed chargemaster rate is almost never the real final price hospitals expect to collect. Habit 28. File your own taxes or use free software for straightforward W-2 returns. Professional preparation often costs $200 to $600, while free options exist for most simple situations, saving hundreds every year that can compound over decades. Habit 29. Deliberately invest in one high-value skill every single year. Choose a specific marketable skill that can increase your income, reduce costs, or open a new revenue stream rather than buying random self-improvement courses. Habit 30. Apply the impulse spending rule to every important financial decision. For purchases over $500, wait 48 hours. For major commitments like leases or loans, wait at least one full week before deciding. When you add up all 30 habits, the conservative estimate is that the average household leaves between $8,000 and $15,000 per year on the table through small, daily decisions and missed opportunities. Over a 40-year working life invested at 7%, that range compounds into $1.6 million to over $3 million in foregone wealth. That's not the gap between rich and poor, but between two people on identical salaries. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the cars not bought, the upgrades not made, the watches not worn, and the quiet, consistent decisions that most people never notice or talk about. The person who quietly follows these habits ends up at 55 with real options. The ability to retire early, take time off, or say no to a job they hate without financial catastrophe. Meanwhile, the person who performed wealth with constant upgrades often stays trapped at their desk at 65, not because they want to, but because the payments still require it. If you're thinking it's too late because you've already made many of these mistakes, don't worry. Starting any of these habits today is still far better than waiting another year. The math always favors now. Right now, I want you to do one specific thing. Log into your benefits portal tonight and check your 401k employer match percentage. If you're not capturing every dollar, increase your contribution before you close this video. That single action offers a 50 to 100% guaranteed return on the day it happens. There is almost nothing else in finance with a better immediate payoff, and it only takes a few minutes. The system is designed to extract money from you quietly in small enough amounts that it doesn't trigger alarm, but large enough to matter enormously over decades. You now know exactly how it works. That knowledge is the only real advantage that was ever available to you. Stop performing wealth and start building it quietly and consistently. You don't need the new car, the upgraded apartment, or the brand name on everything. None of those things compound in your favor or appear on your net worth statement at the end of the year. The habits that actually create wealth are often the most boring ones. They don't make good stories at parties, but they create real freedom and options that most people only dream about. Two people can earn the exact same salary for 30 years and end up in completely different financial universes simply because of small, consistent habits repeated over time. Small leaks sink big ships. The extraction economy wins by making every individual decision feel harmless, while the total cost over decades becomes life-changing. These 30 habits create a strong financial firewall that protects your money from both big mistakes, maybe mistakes. These 30 habits create a strong financial firewall that protects your money from both big mistakes and thousands of dollars every single month. The real power comes from consistency over decades. Small habits repeated quietly create massive differences in net worth, even when incomes and ages are almost identical between two people. You don't need exotic strategies or high-risk moves. The path to $1 million or more is usually built with boring, reliable habits that feel too simple to be powerful until you see the long-term results. Buying used instead of new isn't about being cheap. It's about refusing to pay for someone else's depreciation while redirecting that money into assets that actually grow over time. Living below your means in housing doesn't mean living poorly. It means keeping more control over your money and sleeping better at night knowing you have margin. Automation is one of the most underrated financial superpowers. When saving and investing happen automatically, you remove emotion and willpower from the equation completely. Tracking your spending once a month isn't about restriction, it's about awareness. You can't improve what you don't measure, and small adjustments create big results over years. Negotiation isn't confrontational. It's simply asking for what the other side already budgeted for. Most people who negotiate end up with better deals, and the discomfort lasts only a few seconds. Home cooking isn't glamorous, but the math is undeniable. The difference between eating out frequently and cooking at home can easily add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your net worth over a lifetime. An emergency fund isn't sexy, but it prevents small problems from becoming financial disasters. It gives you peace of mind and stops high-interest debt from entering your life unexpectedly. Extended warranties are almost always a bad deal for the customer. The profit margin is huge for the store, and most people never use them. Your credit card often provides better protection for free. Subscriptions quietly add up to hundreds of dollars every month. Regular audits every 3 months help you keep only what you actually use and redirect the rest toward your future. Lifestyle inflation is silent wealth killer. Me with Batomu. When you get a raise, automatically increase your savings rate first, so the extra money builds your future instead of raising your monthly expenses. Index funds aren't exciting, but decades of data show they outperform most active investors and professional managers. Simplicity and consistency beat complexity almost every single time. Investing in one high-value skill each year can increase your income more reliably than almost any stock pick. Skills compound just like money, and no one can take them away from you. The 24-hour rule for impulse purchases saves thousands every year. Most things we want urgently lose their appeal after a short wait, and that saved money compounds beautifully over time. Most millionaires drive normal cars that are several years old. They don't need to signal wealth because their real wealth is invisible in their investment accounts and financial freedom. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to become financially secure and free. That freedom comes from consistent small decisions most people overlook or find too boring to follow. Paying off high-interest debt first is one of the highest return moves you can make. It's a guaranteed return that no investment can match, and it immediately reduces your financial stress. The difference between financial stress and financial peace often comes down to 30 unglamorous habits. Same income, different choices, completely different daily realities. Regular, consistent investing while living a normal life is how most millionaires actually built their wealth. No inheritance, no six-figure salary required, just discipline over many years. The economy is engineered to make spending feel normal and saving feel restrictive. Understanding this gives you the power to make better decisions and keep more of what you earn. It's never too late to start these habits. Every month you wait is money and time you can't get back. Starting today puts the power of compounding on your side immediately. If this video helped you see your financial decisions differently, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. More practical money insights are coming every week. You now have the map. 30 simple habits that have worked for thousands of ordinary people. The only question left is whether you'll start applying them starting this week. Small habits create big freedom. Not flashy freedom with yachts and luxury cars, but real freedom from constant money stress and the ability to make choices based on what you want instead of what you can afford. The system wants you to stay distracted and spending. You now know better. Choose the quiet path of consistent habits and watch how your financial life transforms over the coming years. Thank you for watching. Start with just one habit this week. Log into your 401k match tonight or audit your subscriptions tomorrow. Small actions repeated create the millionaire next door. See you in the next video.